Hi everyone, we are here with a Bible reading. We hope you guys are having a good afternoon. While I'm getting you guys ready, while Sherma's getting ready, I will do the prayer requests here as we're going through. Sherma's getting his curtain open, so I'll go ahead and get started with those. Please keep the following people in prayer. Please keep Sherm's cousin J.D. Wood in your prayers. I told you he had throat cancer. He had surgery, and they had to remove his thyroid and his voice box. They think they got all the cancer. They used, what'd you say they used to rebuild it?
Parts of his leg or something.
They used parts of his leg to rebuild his voice box. But they think they got all the cancer, so let's hope that they did. Please keep the Deddy family in your prayers. They lost a family member. Please keep the family of George Floyd in your prayers. Mindy Gallimore, pray for an end to this coronavirus. Michelle Watkins, Sherman Crabtree, Cindy Welsh, Jim Welsh, Abby Myers, Rhonda Karshner, Jimmy Myers, Randy Post, Layla and her son Mill, Melody Stanley, Joe Osborne, Eric Stanley, Dora Carper, Judy Thompson, Garnet Boyer, Jim Mitchell, Patty West, Henry Reffett, Jason Holstein, and Norman Karshner. Okay, so today we're going to be reading John chapter 18, verse 25, reading through chapter 19, verse 22, we are still in Psalm 119, with verses 113 through 128.
What?
Huh?
Verses what?
113 through 128.
Okay.
And Proverbs chapter 16, verses 10 and 11. Alright, so let's all go back to the book of John. And we left off yesterday, remember, where Jesus had been arrested, Judas Iscariot had betrayed him, and Peter was following at a distance, and Peter had already denied him once. And remember, Jesus told Peter that Peter would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed. Yesterday, we heard once. Okay, so let's begin. And Simon Peter stood and warmed himself. They said therefore unto him, Art not thou also one of his disciples? He denied it and said, I am not. 2 of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsmen, whose ear Peter cut off, saith, Did not I see thee in the garden with him? Peter then denied again. And immediately the cock crew. Immediately after Peter denied him the 3rd time, the rooster crowed. Then led they Jesus from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment. And it was early, and they themselves went out into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them and said, What accusation bring ye against this man? They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee. They're just wanting Pilate basically to say, crucify him and just do what they want, without no questions. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him, and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death, that the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Jesus, and said unto him, Art thou the King of the Jews? Jesus answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Jesus answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Every one that is of the truth heareth my voice. Pilate saith unto him, What is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews, and saith unto them, I find in him no fault at all. But ye have a custom, that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will you therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? Then cried they all, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber. He was also a murderer and a rioter. Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on a purple robe upon him, mocking him. Purple was the color of royalty. And said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. They hit him. Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns, and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. Then the chief priests therefore and officers saw him. They cried out, saying, Crucify him! Crucify him! Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him, and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. He didn't want to put Jesus to death. And his wife warned him of it as well, for she had a dream. But the people would not rest. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Jesus, Whence art thou? But Jesus gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Jesus answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivereth me unto thee hath the greater sin. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he said unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cried out, Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him! Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And he took Jesus and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of the skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, the 2 other with him on either side, one and Jesus in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. The title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, Write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am King of the Jews. Pilate answered, What I have written, I have written. And that's where we are stopping with the book of John today. Now we are going to Psalm 119, verses 113 through 128. I feel like I had a hair on my lip. My hair gets everywhere.
This is gonna hairy lip. This is gonna hairy lip.
My hair goes everywhere, I tell you. It's so aggravating.
This is gonna hairy lip.
I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. Thou art my hiding place and my shield. I hope in thy word. Depart from me, you evildoers, for I will keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me according unto thy word, that I may live, and let me not be ashamed of my hope. Hold thou me up, and I shall be safe, and I will have respect unto thy statutes continually. Thou hast trodden down all them that err from the statutes. From their deceit is falsehood. Thou puttest away all the wicked of the earth like dross. Therefore I love thy testimonies. My flesh trembleth for fear of thee, and I am afraid of thy judgments. I have done judgment and justice. Leave me not to mine oppressors, but surety for thy servant for good. Let not the proud oppress me. Mine eyes fell for thy salvation, and for the word of thy righteousness. Deal with thy servant according unto thy mercy, and teach me thy statutes. I am thy servant. Give me understanding, that I may know thy testimonies. It is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Therefore I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way. And that is where we're going to stop with Psalm 119. And now we are going to Proverbs chapter 16, verses 10 and 11. You ready with that? A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresseth not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. Alright guys, that was our Bible reading for today. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless.